Today is Martin Luther King Jr. Day. If you're like me, who's a huge history fan, I love days like this because you can have fun with the kids who don't really know a lot about history. With Martin Luther King Jr., when he made his I Have a Dream speech, which is one of the most famous speeches he's given. He's given several different speeches and talks, but that one was the most memorable because it was about segregation, and after that, the civil rights movement really impacted America. I really love days like this, even though they are a little harsh topics, and they're very deep for especially the younger kids, not so much the high school kids who have to learn about the civil rights movement and American history. It's more like the little kids. They don't comprehend a lot of that deep stuff as well. So I love days like today because you can teach them about it, but in a very different way that does not get into this is the civil rights movement, and this is what we're going to learn about and why Martin Luther King was important. It's just so boring. So I'm going to share several different ideas. My first idea came about, it's just a reading idea. I have below Who Was Martin Luther King Jr., the book. I love the Who Was series. They have, like, everybody. They have Who Was Walt Disney, Who Was the Wright brothers. I have those. I have Who Was Rosa Parks, who was, like, they have everybody who was, like, historical icon. Not even historical icons, but, like, famous people that have made history. The other book is below I Am Martin Luther King Jr. This is mainly for the younger kids, like preschoolers, because it's more pictures than the Who Was. The Who Was, it gets into the history and the dates and the it talks about the civil rights movement. The other, I Am Martin Luther King Jr., it doesn't get into the details, which is perfect for the preschoolers. So something as simple as reading those two books is a wonderful idea, just to get them like, oh, today's an important day and this is why. Just to get them like, oh, And then I had a couple ideas, STEM. Now, these ideas kind of correspond with each other. So, I've always wanted to do this. And it would be really cool nowadays, especially with all the STEM programs they're creating throughout school districts and throughout the country, is having the kids. Now, you can do this with preschoolers, but you have to be careful on how you do it. Having them work together, or especially the younger kids, because they don't understand the teamwork and the collaboration learning yet, that you pull small groups, they can make the Washington Monument out of Legos. And then for the older end, build on top of it, like, the whole Washington Mall in DC with the pool there's a pool and the garden and then the Lincoln Memorial. And that's actually where he made his speech. So the older kids, like 2nd, 3rd grade, can make the whole mall out of Legos. And I think that would be really cool because as you get into the older grades, like 2nd, 3rd grade, you can get into things like you can incorporate the things that you're learning about into what you're doing. So, say you start talking about fractions. But what if you cut the Washington Monument in half? What would happen? Pretend we put it on its side and we cut it in quarters. Can we cut it in quarters? And use the Legos as like the quarters and the halves and the whole and teach them about the fractions or whatever you're learning about. I think that'd be really cool. Even addition, something as simple as how many Legos are we going to use to build it? How many, especially with the Lincoln Memorial, the pillars in the front. Okay, how many are there? Let's count. Pull up a picture of it. Even as simple as pulling up a picture of it on Google, putting it on like your smartboard or your laptop so the kids can see it, and having them count 1, 2, 3, and then keep counting. You know, practicing those simple things, just simple things like that, can get their mind moving. And they can still learn and have fun. The last idea I had, well, there are 2 different ideas, but same thing again, almost like the STEM ideas, they kind of correspond with each other. So, I had a writing idea. With Teachers Pay Teachers, they have so many different templates. And the one template I saw was a really cute idea. I actually really wanted to get it. And I loved it. So, a writing idea I had was you can introduce the whole I have a dream speech. Something as simple as having the kids write their own dream. So, the preschoolers, you would have to like pre-dot like the phrase, I have a dream, and pre-dot it on lined paper. And then have them trace it. And then they can draw a picture of a dream they have. Like, and you can talk about a goal. So, something as simple as, oh, I have a dream that I'm going to get a bicycle. Okay. Now the older kids, they can write it and they can make their own sentence. They can do the same thing with the tracing. These would be kids like 1st, maybe 2nd grade. 2nd grade, you're like, start getting out of that tracing. But if it helps, use it. If not, have them write their own I have a dream. And then have them write a sentence. I have a dream that I'm going to get a horse. Or I'm going to get a Nintendo Switch for Christmas. Or I'm going to have a baby brother soon. I don't know. You know, something simple. And then the older they get, like 3rd, 4th grade, you can have them write like 2 or 3 sentences. And you can do the same thing where you have them draw a picture. Because I know kids love to draw. Even if it's something as simple as a heart, they love to draw. So, and then have them color it, and I think that would be awesome to practice their writing skills, because kids need to practice their writing skills. And that's like all I have for Martin Luther King Day. Next time I see you guys, I'm going to start talking about Valentine's Day already.